What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a discussion on the big news that Bungie is splitting from Activision and they're taking Destiny with them. So recently we did get the news about this and they put out a post on Bungie.net that went over some things. Now we're going to talk about the impact, we're going to talk about the business and so many other things, some of the things that I would like to see from the franchise going forward as Bungie being an independent studio and getting to the next Destiny or expansions separated from Activision. But let's get into what Bungie had to say first. When we first launched our partnership with Activision in 2010, the gaming industry was in a pretty different place. As an independent studio setting out to build a brand new experience, we wanted a partner willing to take a big leap of faith with us. We had a vision for Destiny that we believed in, but to launch a game of that magnitude, we needed the support of an established publishing partner. With Activision, we created something special. To date, Destiny has delivered a combination of over 50 million games and expansions to players all around the world. More importantly, we've also witnessed a remarkable community, tens of millions of Guardians strong, rise up and embrace Destiny, to play together, to make and share memories, and even to do truly great things that reach far beyond the game we share, to deliver a positive impact on people's everyday lives. We have enjoyed a successful 8-year run and we would like to thank Activision for their partnership on Destiny. Looking ahead, we're excited to announce plans for Activision to transfer publishing rights for Destiny to Bungie. With our remarkable Destiny community, we are ready to publish on our own, while Activision will increase their focus on owned IP projects. The planned transition process is already underway in its early stages, with Bungie and Activision both committed to making sure the handoff is as seamless as possible. With Forsaken, we've learned and listened and leaned into what we believe our players want from a great Destiny experience. Rest assured, there is more of that on the way. We'll continue to deliver on the existing Destiny roadmap, and we're looking forward to releasing more seasonal experiences in the coming months, as well as surprising our community with some exciting announcements about what lies beyond. Thank you so much for your continued support. Our success is owed in no small part to the incredible community of players who have graced our worlds with light and life. We know self-publishing won't be easy. There's still much for us to learn as we grow as an independent global studio, but we see unbounded opportunities and a potential in Destiny. We know that new adventures await us all on new worlds filled with mystery, adventure, and hope. We'll hope you'll join us there. See you Starside. And Bungie finished off with that. Now there's so much to discuss with this, guys. Let's talk about the business and the publishing and all that, because that's the big thing here. Bungie did not own the rights beforehand, right? Activision owned the rights. They had to get those rights. So obviously that's going to cost a lot of money. Bungie had to pay them for that. Now next is the type of franchise, right? What they're building with Destiny, how big the game is, where's the funding going to come from? Now, what I'm understanding here, there is a company called NetEase or something like that that's going to give them 100 million or has 100 million backed for them. And they're probably setting up some other types of deals in order to work with other game companies out there or publishing stores. For example, the Epic Game Store, they just got the Division 2 as an exclusive. I can bet you anything with that nice 88% cut, I'm pretty sure the next Destiny game is going to launch on there or be an exclusive on PC for the Epic Game Store. Now, it's probably still going to come to whatever the PS5 or the next Xbox or whatever the case is there, but I think that PC-wise, it's going to be on that Epic Game Store so they can get a big cut of those sales, and they also have that financial backing from NetEase or whatever that company is. Of course, I'll have links in the description below so you guys can kind of piece together everything that I'm saying here. I really want to talk about my impressions of Destiny and the franchise and what I would like to see going forward, and of course get you guys' opinions on what you'd like to see change from the Destiny franchise or what's going to happen after this. Now, once again, I'm not going to sit here and blame Activision for everything that went wrong with this franchise, but I remember being extremely hyped for Destiny on the PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, and then playing the demo and completely falling out of the experience from there. I thought it was going to be more of Borderlands, and it does kind of have some of that aspect to it, but there's a lot of things that I don't like in the game. Now, they've fixed things over the years, right? Ever since when we first saw Destiny back in 2014 all the way to this point. There's actually a lot of cool things that they fixed with their expansions and all that, but that's the problem. Every single time there's issues wrong with it. It seems like they've gutted the game in some ways and taken out things only to put them in expansions later, or updates, or microtransactions, or something like that. The story in these games have never been that great in my opinion, especially with the first Destiny. Destiny 2 improved some things, but still wasn't that great. And I know this one's probably going to be a little bit controversial when it comes to the gameplay, but you see a lot of times with Destiny, it's like first person, right? Then it zooms out into third person, then goes back into first person, like when you have a sword or a hammer or whatever. It would be nice if there's just an optional third person mode. I understand for some people the competitive play that would throw things off, but maybe if you're just playing single player or you're playing the regular campaign and it's not the competitive PvP multiplayer, you can do that, because just zooming out and zooming back in and zooming out then zooming back in is not something that I really like too much when it comes to gaming, when it comes to any game really, not just Destiny. So having that option, at least for the non-competitive modes, would be nice. And if you want to not have it in there for PvP, or if that would be a problem with the competitive community, then fine, you don't do that either. But I also think that like they need to make sure that the game is really good with the story, and they need to make sure that the controls are fine, everything's okay with the game that way. But just having a little bit more, if you're going to be an RPG, then having a story and having combat and having some of the things that you do when it comes to the upgrading reflect that. That's where I think really where Bungie's weak at. Like they can do the cinematics, they can do graphics, they can do controls, they have all of that down, right? They can make some compelling systems, some multiplayer that works, MMO style, whatever the case is. But when it comes to the actual story, and when it comes to the writing, and when it comes to the length, and when it comes to things like that, like the depth of these games, it seems a bit shallow to me. And it seems like only expansions fix those things. Like, oh, well, it's kind of lacking content. Oh, well, we have this expansion, and this expansion to fix it. It doesn't seem like they really get it right from the beginning, and you have to wait, or you have to pay more money to get that extra content. And then on top of that, when you do get that extra content, it feels like an insane grind from what I've physically seen. I played Destiny 1, I played that quite a bit, and I thought that it was an okay game, but it just seemed like it was a bit shallow. Destiny 2 barely put any time into it, but I've watched it a ton, and it seems like there's still some of those persisting issues that the game has always had. Now, once again, I feel that the game is very solid. Bungie obviously is a talented team. They have a lot of great developers there, and they can make a solid game. They just need to kind of fine-tune things when it comes to the story and the mechanics. That's the biggest thing that I want to see. I want to see more in-depth mechanics with how you level, how you upgrade, how you get your exotics, how you do things, and not it just be a grind to get those. This isn't a free-to-play game, but sometimes it feels like a free-to-play game, and I think that's my biggest problem, is that like, okay, if I'm going to have to grind for X amount of hours or Y amount of hours in this style multiplayer, so you have to pay for the multiplayer unless you're playing on PC, but then you have to grind as if it's a free-to-play game, you know, even though you paid money to play this game, although it's pretty much free at this point, right? So if you bought it now, and I think they were even giving it away for free if you purchased like Dragon Quest 11, or if you purchased Spider-Man back when those games came out at Best Buy. And of course they were giving away it, like if you like install battle.net or whatever like that, you could get a free copy. So yeah, they're pretty much giving it away at this point, but a lot of people actually bought the game, and even if you spent $20, $30, $40, it feels like a free-to-play game at times. And it's like, why should I play that when I can just play Warframe, which already has a ton of content, a ton of updates, and all of that for free in the game? So I think that's where they're running into issues, at least with getting me hooked into it. Warframe is third person. Warframe has great action. Warframe has a good story. Warframe has all these different things that's pulling me in, and it's free, whereas Destiny is not. And I also have to pay if I'm going to play on PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. If I'm going to play Destiny on those, I'm going to have to pay to play those online as well. So to me, it's not something that I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to rush into this, you know, like I'm going to rush into a Destiny game. So I'm hoping with this new publishing deal, right, where they're working as an independent studio, I'm hoping they can get rid of the microtransaction garbage. They can get rid of the we'll fix it in the expansion. Oh, we'll add this in the expansion, and they can say, hey, we're going to build a complete full experience. And yes, when we get the expansions, it's going to feel like the cherry on top of the grand cake. You know, it's going to feel like this is something that was truly added in, not to help fix an experience, but to top off the experience. Like, hey, we got all of this content. This was so fun. The mechanics were in depth. Everything was good. And then check out this really cool expansion. I almost feel like, for those who have played it, like Torn of the Golden Country, right? To what that is to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or even maybe a lot of you guys who are watching this video, something like The Witcher, right? The expansion that The Witcher got, the blood and the wine, to the regular game. You got that full experience that fans of that franchise really like. Everything's in depth for those fans. I'm not the biggest Witcher fan myself, but from what people talk about it, it'd be like that. It feels like Destiny is like cut in half, and then, oh, well, there's this expansion, this expansion, this expansion. Oh, now it's a full game at this point. So I'm hoping that they reverse their logic. Now that they're being independent, you're not going to have that marketing and the backing of a Activision. You're really going to have to make sure that you connect with the fans on the first try or the second try, and not have to wait over and over to get the complete or full experience. And also like offline modes and making sure everything isn't always about an online type of thing. I'd also like to see that. Don't know if we're going to see that going forward in the future, but it's going to be interesting either way to see where Bungie kind of takes this and how consumer friendly is the next Destiny compared to what we got before, because we got microtransactions always online and all sorts of stuff shoved into our face. Will that stuff be gone? Will there be more depth with the single player? Will they not kind of gouge us with all the other kind of stuff, the fluff that we saw with Activision? Only time will tell, but I'm hoping that them doing that will create a better game, because for me right now, Warframe is the game that's kind of doing it for me in that type of space shooter realm. And I'm hoping that maybe Destiny can kind of get into that as well, because I did play the first one and I was excited for it, but kind of killed my excitement for the franchise pretty much going forward. So we'll have to wait and see. When it comes to the other business side of this, guys, we do know that there's been some clashing between Bungie and Activision as well. Like there's always going to be with these huge mega $1 million deals, but we do know that Activision wasn't happy with the sales of Destiny 2. And I think more particularly, they weren't happy with how fast the game was discounted. And I think that's what happens when you build a type of game or experience that isn't full at the beginning. People don't see it as value, then they wait for it to drop in price, then they buy the game. So I think that's the biggest thing that they have to fix, is making sure that the game keeps its value and people feel that it's worth the full 60 from the beginning, so you don't see those fast sales drops right off the bat. So what do you guys think about Destiny and what's going on with Bungie and Activision? How Bungie has now acquired the rights to the franchise and they will be publishing the game, self-publishing it with some outside investments as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.